Yo, what's going on, guys? Stove 10 Milk 63 here, and today I have a Dead by Daylight killer tier list video. Before I begin, though, please note that this is my personal opinion on ranking the killers, so you obviously won't agree with everything, pretty much. But I was looking to I'm trying my best to explain why I made a killer a certain rank. So, I'm a little late to this whole tier list thing, but I wanted to make my own anyways, so hopefully you enjoy. And I wrote a lot about some killers, so let's just get into it, okay? So in the S tier, or the best tier, we have Nurse. I don't want to explain too much about Nurse, even though I suck with her. Others are really good with her. She is widely known as the best killer in the game. You just need to take the time to master her, plus she has really good perks. If you just know how to use your blinks and to predict survivors, you can probably be really good. Even though she's like the slowest killer, you could still go really fast with her, so, with her blinks and, like, teleporting, kinda like all that. So, she's a pretty good pillar, but, she's a pretty good killer. Can't speak, I'm so stupid. But she, yeah. So as long as you master her and stuff, she can be, like, the best killer in the game, and it'd be a really tough time for survivors, especially with her perks that pretty much slow down healing speed and make survivors louder when they're injured. So, yeah. But, we're gonna get away from the S tier and, move into the A tier now, which, we're starting off with Hillbilly. Now, Hillbilly is definitely one of the best killers in this game. His chainsaw allows survivors to be one hit if he hits them, and his hitbox is kind of good for killer, in the sense where he could just hit you and it doesn't look like he hits you. And he can make it around the map really fast. He can go patrol generators fast. If he has a totem, he can go to his hex totem really fast. And he can just get some good cross maps. So Hillbilly is really good because of his chainsaw. And it's just really fun playing him. Like, I've had a fun time playing him. And I bet if anyone else played him, they most likely had a fun time too. He's just one of those, like, casual killers that's just fun to play as. So I recommend you do play on him, though, if you haven't before. But, jeez, I'm yawning. But, we're just gonna move on to our next killer, because I have played Hillbilly a lot, and I really enjoy him. And I think I've talked about him a lot in my streams and stuff, so there's no use in spending any more time on him. But, he is a really good killer. So next up in the A tier, we have the Plague. Now, I have played the Plague a little bit, not a whole lot. But, she is actually ranked as one of the best killers. This is, based off of my ranking, though, and I actually pretty much agree. She is pretty fast. She's at the speed that most of the other killers are at. A few killers are lower speed, but, she is pretty fast. She can infect survivors, generators, pallets, totems, chests, windows, I think, a lot of stuff, and probably more. She can infect a whole lot of stuff, and when the survivors are, sick, they can either stay sick, which makes them very vulnerable, so they're like one hit, or they can just like one hit down. So it's like, as soon as they get hit, they're down, or they can cure themselves by going to a couple of these little like water fountains. And if they cure themselves, the killer gets a thing called the Corrupt Purge, which makes it so every time you puke on a survivor, you can bring them down one health state. She can be countered kind of easily with her ability if survivors are good enough by dodging it, but most of the time you can land pretty much like a hit on her and stuff, or a hit on survivors with her ability. So she's still a great killer who can slow the game down a little bit and help kill survivors faster. I was thinking of whether or not to put her in A or B tier, but I think she just like kind of just barely made an A tier. I am trying to put this in my best order. Some stuff might be a little out of order because I put it in so fast, but I think everything's in order. So it's in order of best to worst, so Nurse is first, Hillbilly second, then Plague, then Spirit, and so on. But we're actually going to stop talking about the Plague now. I think she just barely made it to A tier, but let's talk about Spirit. So I don't have much to say at all about Spirit. She's actually really good because of her power, and like, she's literally really good because of that. You can just go around the map nicely. There is a little sound indicating when you're close to survivor when you're in that little phase of walking. But other than that, she can get around really fast and scare some survivors with the right add-ons, and it's just really fun to play as her. So I would recommend trying her out, but hopefully they fix her scream because she sounds like Waluigi. But not much to say about her there. Anyways, right now we have Shirtless Myers. No, I'm just kidding. We don't have Shirtless Myers. It's Michael Myers. Okay, so Michael is a pretty good killer, too. I think I'm saying that about every killer right now, that they're a good killer, pretty good killer, a great killer. But, I don't think that he could, deserves A tier quite, though. He is a good killer because he can be stealthy and surprise attack you. He has a small terror radius in tier 1, and, he can make you expose, which makes you, like, one hit down again for a short period of time. And his tier 2 and tier 3, he is fast. And his tier 3, though, he's actually, like, really fast. And his terror radius is small in tier 1, so you can sneak up on them. And it's bigger in tier 2 and 3, so it makes them get more scared. And he's pretty good, and I like playing as him. I played him a little bit. Well, I played him a lot, but I don't play him much anymore. But he's definitely not C tier. And I think he pretty much just missed out on being A tier, so I put him at the top of B tier because he's actually pretty good. But next up we're going to be talking about the Huntress. Now, the Huntress is actually a pretty good killer when you think about it, because, well, she has her, she's a ranged killer, she has her hatchets. You could say what you want, but I do think she is B tier, which is pretty good. She can throw hatchets at you from a distance for... It could actually go pretty far where she can hit you, and she can also kind of stop you from looping her on pallets and stuff if you know how to loop, if you know how to counter that as Huntress. And if you can predict survivors well enough, you can hit your hatchets pretty much like every time or almost every time. And with the right add-ons, you can really just mess the survivors up. Let me tell you that. Now, I think she deserves to be B tier. I've played her only a little bit, but she is really good, and she's got good perks. Well, she has a good perk. And no, I'm not talking about her stupid basement perk, Territorial Imperative. I'm talking about her Hex perk, Hex Huntress Lullaby. Hex Huntress Lullaby just makes it where skill checks are changed every time you hook a survivor, and they get more delayed until the 5th token you get, or the 5th time you hook a survivor. It basically makes it there's no skill check warning, so it gets very hard to hit your skill check sometimes, especially if he's nearby and you're looking around and all of a sudden a skill check pops up. I don't really know what else to say about our favorite humming / singing killer, but she's pretty good, and she's a ranged killer, so that's always a nice thing to see, have a nice ranged killer like that. But let's move on to our next killer in the B tier, which is the Hag. Now, the Hag is actually pretty good, too. I'm saying that literally every time, that they're pretty good. Because of her perks, she's mainly good because of her perks, and her power is decent, I would say. She is pretty short, like really short. She's literally shorter than the corn in Coldwind Farm, so that kind of sucks. She deserves B tier mainly because of her perks, though. If you bring Urban Evasion or bring Flashlights, you can counter her power pretty much completely. But she does have a small terror radius, so sneaking up on survivors usually works well. And it's mainly just her perks that everyone levels her up for. They just level her up for her perks and then play a different killer. So let's just move on already. But next up we have Big Boy, who attends your birthday party and ends up touching you in weird, not safe for work places. And yes, I'm talking about Big Boy Clown. Clown just made it into B tier. He is almost C tier in my opinion, though. I have played him a lot, actually, and I do enjoy playing him. He is good because he's actually really fast, and he can slow down chases and pretty much prevent you from looping him. So his only power, though, is the bottles that he throws, which just slows down survivors and slightly blinds them. I mean, it is pretty okay because what makes up for it, though, is because he is fast and they do get slow for a while. So it's an easy hit and then throw another bottle and just rinse and repeat and keep throwing bottles and hitting them. And once you hook a survivor, you can just throw a bottle or two. And a good time to reload your bottles after downing a survivor or hooking a survivor. So that's pretty good. So, GG. But moving on over here to the C tier, we have Mr. Doctor. Now, unfortunately, eating an apple a day will not keep this doctor away. But the doctor is okay. He can stop you from vaulting windows or throwing pallets down when he uses his treatment mode. But it is sometimes hard to use his ability because it's just pretty hard to kind of land it sometimes. Most of the time you could land it, though. And putting it in tier 3, it just makes a survivor snap out of it, which isn't that hard to hit the skill checks if you played the game for a while. And in tier 2, it just makes you get weird skill checks on your generators and healing. And fake doctors, like hallucinations, usually spawn in, but they only spawn in for like a second or two. So it's kind of useless too. But sorry for the doctor mains out there, but I think he's an okay killer in my opinion. He's just not the best. It's pretty easy to counter him. And if you're lucky, you can get 4Ks with him, but in most cases it's kind of hard. Unless you got really bad survivors, but, you know. Let's just move on to our next killer, which is the Wraith. The Wraith is mainly an M1 killer who can also go pretty much like mostly invisible. And to say mostly invisible, I mean as in where he's cloaked, but you can still see the outline of him. He's got like a glossy outline. But I personally love the Wraith. I played him on a live stream recently, and I realized that I loved him, and now I actually play him. He's like the only killer I play on Dead by Daylight for right now. I love playing as him. Just because all his ability is to just kind of cloak around. With the right add-ons, he is a great killer. But I put him in C tier because without his add-ons, or really even with the add-ons, he's still not the best killer just because of his ability is only one thing, pretty much. But it is good because when he uncloaks, he gets a burst of speed, and when he is cloaked, he can go really fast, but they still see you. So if you have really good survivors, they can see you from a distance and run away from you, and sometimes you might be able to lose them, but most of the time you can also find them. And with his perks, you can find survivors really well too. And it's kind of easy to counter him if you're a good survivor, and if you bring flashlights, you can just burn him, which blinds him for a while. And it's also kind of annoying to go against him, though, so some survivors don't do the best. But it's pretty easy to counter him anyways, but he's pretty annoying to go against, like I said. Just like that stupid doctor. I hate going against stupid doctors. Okay, let's just get into the next one, okay? I'm not going to go all crazy now. Our next one is Bubba Cannibal Leatherface. Whatever you want to call him. Okay, this may be just a little bit of an unpopular opinion here. You might think, okay, well, he's bad, but I actually think that he's actually pretty good. He's got a good ability where he can instantly down multiple survivors at once, and even if he runs into something, he could still down survivors in that time, especially if they go into a locker and stuff. But I think the only bad thing, though, is just that every time you go against a Leatherface, they usually just camp or tunnel you or, well, camp you again. Yeah, that's pretty much all they do is just camp or tunnel you. And it sucks. But he does have good perks, and he has pretty much a good ability to go up for it. But for right now, I think we're going to keep him in C tier, just for now. But next up, our last one in the C tier is the Pig. Now, I've played Pig a little bit, but not a whole lot, but I'm still going to talk about her. The Pig can actually be stealthy and use a dash attack, along with the traps that she puts on your head. 9 out of 10 times you can get your traps off, and you can pretty much juke her well and make her waste her dash attack. Now, like I said, I haven't played her much, but she's not the best killer. I think she's okay, not really the best, but she can still surprise you when she's crouched and do a little sneak attack, especially if she crouches and then dashes onto a generator that you're on, like if you're in Killer Shack, and she just goes through the door and surprises you. So it's pretty good sometimes to do that, but her traps just aren't really the best, I would say, but, you know. Now, here is probably a very, very unpopular opinion coming up right now. I know everyone here is probably going to criticize me for this, and not agree at all, but like I said, this is my opinion. My opinion, okay? It's my opinion, so don't get too mad, but, you know, it's my tier list, my opinion. It's just what I think, and I put Trapper in the D tier. Now, the D tier is essentially the worst tier in this tier list right here, as you can see. Now, Trapper is pretty much like an M1 killer. He's actually really powerful, because you can block off some really good spots, like some looping spots. You can block off some infinites, pallets, and maybe just some random spots around the map. But by the time you put all your traps in and, you know, you trap off all the good, powerful spots, there's like maybe 2 to 3 gens left, maybe 4, almost 3 gens left. Like, there's probably most of the time, I'd say 2 to 3 gens left in the game. And yeah, some people will step in your traps, which is good. It's a good feeling to see that, and you just go up and get them. But there's pretty much barely any gens left after that. So I'm super sorry, Trapper mains, but that's where just I rank him. I'm sure if I was a Trapper main, I'd probably rank him more. Even though I'm a Wraith main, though, I only kept him at tier C just because of he's not really the best. He's kind of weak, and to be honest, Trapper is kind of weak too. He's pretty fast, but he's mainly just an M1 killer, so he's kind of weak in that sense, but he's got some okay perks to kind of make up for it, I guess. But, you know, we're going to move on to the multiple people at once killer. So see a Trappy boy, and by multiple people at once, or it could be multiple people depending on who you play as, like 2 boys and 2 girls. We're talking about the Legion. Legion is, pretty okay, I guess. Okay, now, alright, Legion can get looped a lot, and their power kind of sucks, okay? I personally never played as Legion, but I know people who have, and I can't really say too much, but I know a lot of people agree with me, and I know people who play as them, and I've gone against them before, and you can just see that Legion really sucks, okay? Maybe Legion will get a buff soon, even though they've been getting nerfed, but for now, they're staying in the D tier just because they're pretty bad, okay? I mean, it's really easy to loop them. Their power's not the best. If they miss one, if they miss one hit, their power just decreases all the way or gets depleted. But if they do hit you, they can see everyone else, which is okay, I guess, but mainly just an M1 killer in that sense. And maybe their power is used to just run faster, because God, Legion kind of sucks. But wow, so we're going to move on to our last killer. We already made it to the end. Our last killer in this tier list. And that is, it's Freddy. Freddy is just no, okay? Just no. Don't play Freddy, ever. He sucks. He actually sucks. Okay? Oh my god. Okay, so if you don't know, Freddy can put you in he has to put you in the dream state before he can injure you. That takes, I think, around 6 seconds to do, and it's pretty annoying because survivors can just miss a skill check or have someone wake them up to get out of it, out of the dream state, and especially when the exit gates are open, putting them in the dream state won't matter because they can still open exits, even though it's slower, and they can still escape while he's putting them in the dream state. So that's why he's ranked the worst, I would say. I think he's just really bad, and yeah. So you may have noticed that Ghostface is not on here. Reason being is that Ghostface literally just came out a couple of days ago, and I mean, I already have him like level 27 right now, but I haven't had the chance to play as him a whole lot where I want to give him an official rank. So for right now, Ghostface has no rank. So, you know, if you guys want, go into the comments below and rank Ghostface from S to D, what you think he is, S, A, B, C, or D. I'm not going to rank him right now. Maybe in another video I might talk about it real quick and just say what I think. But as for right now, I'm not going to rank Ghostface. But I would say that he's definitely better than Legion and Freddy. So, you know. But, that is we reached the end of the video, guys. I kind of rushed through the last couple killers, not really talking so much about them, but, you know, I tried my best to talk about all the killers for a little bit and give you some background information, as well as why I gave them their certain rank in this tier list. So it was fun to make this tier list, and I can't say this enough. This is my personal opinion, so please don't get too mad if you don't agree. Hopefully you'll enjoy this, and this took me a while to make, but I enjoy this little tier list thing, and it was fun to do. It really was. So let me know if there's any other things I should do for a tier list video, but that is pretty much the end. Hopefully you'll enjoy, and I will see you all in another video. But yeah, we reached the end, so I don't know what else to say, so I'm just gonna say, see you guys. Bye. No, wait, do not leave yet, guys. Listen. I kind of forgot to say something, okay? Now, if you're still here watching this, if you did not click off this video, congratulations. I just want to show you guys real quick with a little video how much I actually wrote, okay? I took like an hour or two writing all of this. I was writing down what to say. There's a lot of, you know, grammatical errors in this and spelling errors. But it took me so long to write everything. I basically wrote a giant script of what I want to talk about for each killer. But hopefully you enjoyed this. And I might do it again sometime because it was very fun. But that was just my opinion of where I rank the killers. But I just wanted to show you guys how much I wrote because it took a while. But, you know, that was pretty fun. But I will see you guys all in the next video. So, see you guys.